One of the things that many open source companies are struggling with is targeting the right persona. As I look at this persona, it usually goes from system admins, architect, DevOps, all the way until developers. The higher you go up the ladder, the harder it is to target this type of audience. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about how to choose the right persona and how to know that you are in the right direction. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Nevo. I'm a full stack developer with over 10 years of experience doing marketing for the last 2 years. Welcome back to the channel. I mainly talk about open source tech and marketing. I grew Novo, the open source notification infrastructure company, from 0 to 31,000 stars in less than 2 years. Targeting the right persona is a difficult approach, but it's absolutely one of the most important things you will do in your company. For me, I will mainly talk about the two types of persona, which is architect at the top here, and then developers at the bottom here. So how do you choose the right persona? Usually when you want to choose the right persona, you need to kind of think about their flow of how they do stuff and what kind of market do you want to target? Do you want to target enterprise companies that usually paying for self-hosting and enterprise support and stuff like that? Or do you want to do it with developers that are usually going with cloud solution, bottom up, and self-onboarding? The most classic approach is Vercel, for example. They target developers. You can see on the website that they have a lot of code and React code, and you don't need to think about scalability. You don't need to think about cloud infrastructure. They promote a lot of Next.js. So basically, they're really trying to avoid anything that is connected with configuration. Same thing with a company like Recent.com. Their site is full of code. Even in the title, it says developers. So you really understand who is the target audience, which is developers. But then people are starting to confuse, okay, what is the difference? Like, developers is everybody. It is true that architects are also developers, but their messaging should be a little bit different. When you target enterprises, you should look at websites like LangChain. Even though LangChain was mainly for developers, they don't put that in their messaging. They're trying to push a lot in the website to their enterprise plan, which totally makes sense because they haven't taken the cloud approach, which is mostly for developer. They have taken the self-host approach and enterprise approach, which makes a lot more sense for a company like that. You won't find in the website things like code at all, which is kind of insane if you think about it, because every developers I talk to really use LangChain for the LangChain code. You will see a lot of architectural messages, like blocks under blocks of how the entire system works. They will talk a lot about the features, but not that much about code. Now, how do you even make this kind of decision? Do I want to go with the enterprise or not? I think the best thing is to look at the company that I'm working with. They try to target developers. And what they've seen from a lot of customer discovery calls is that developers are really eager to go and use their product, but then they go up the ladder, get into the architect, and the architect tell them, like, listen, we usually produce this kind of Terraform or kind of stuff. You're not the one that should give this to me. I should tell you what to do. I hope you like this video. If you do, please subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot to understand if you like this kind of videos or not. So because they get stuck, they can continue. That's the end of the entire process. This has come directly with the approach that this was not a cloud solution. This is not something developers only. It was a mixed thing between developers and the entire enterprise team. This is what makes it so complicated. If this company actually wanted to target only developers, they would probably be better pushing into a cloud solution that take care of anything connected to scalability. So now they're actually pivoting around the idea of trying to navigate this more into the enterprise. So they will focus a lot more into configuration, a lot less into any developer can go and deploy this, and really focus on the high-level persona, which usually come with a top-down approach of talking to decision makers and big leaders. Another company that I'm working with, building Copilot bots, and I'm actually using them for my startup, Gitroom. As a developer, it took me something like 3 hours to implement this into my application, which is totally in the level of the application. No infrastructure is needed. The Copilot bot works with React, send the information to the server return back the ChatGPT call, and everybody is happy. It doesn't touch at all the entire infrastructure team. because developers just make it on their application level. This is perfect for developers. If they had to actually go from the higher persona, they would have a very big problem where everything will become a lot slower. So obviously the right approach with this kind of company is to focus as much as they can on the cloud, because developers like cloud solution that they don't need to do anything. Still, things like railway.app or render.com are totally developers platforms that developer like and use. Of course, in an enterprise, developer would still need to implement their entire thing into a big infrastructure, but still it will all be on the application layer, so they will not have a problem in proceeding. That video might be a little bit confusing, but in order to actually understand your persona, you have to make customer discovery call. When you talk to people, you have to ask them, why haven't you implemented this inside your company? If you see that they are getting stuck into a higher level personas, and usually when you encounter something like that, I would not push it as much as I can. Yes, try it anyway, we'll give you a solution. Let us talk to the architect, because you will get stuck over and over again. That's usually not a good idea. Just learn from this and move into a higher persona. And if you like this video, please make sure you watch my previous video on where to publish your articles.